Hi, welcome in today. I'm going to be doing a video about the promise. When we think about a promise, we think about something we can count on, right? Someone that we can count on, maybe. And when I was a kid, I'd always look in the sky and I would see a rainbow. And sometimes I would think, it was taught to us that there was gold at the end of it, right? A pot of gold. But as we grew up, we realized there was no pot of gold. And the rainbow was created from the spectrum of colors in the sky. Now, today what we're going to discuss is in that rainbow, that was God's promise to us about a commitment, a promise that He would be there for us and that we could count on that. So whenever we would see a rainbow in the sky, we would realize, oh, yeah, there's that promise that God had for me. So do you remember Noah? Noah was the one, and this is in Genesis chapter 6 through 9. Noah was the one that built the ark that took 2 of each animal, right? Now, why did God choose Noah? Well, Noah was a descendant of Adam, Adam and Eve. And at that time, if you know the story, there was a lot of wickedness on earth. There were a lot of people just doing whatever they wanted, lying, a lot of sin, right? A lot of immoral behavior. And so God was really frustrated. And He said, that's it. I'm done. I'm just gonna send a flood and wipe it all clean and be done. Because man is not following what I've given him to do. And so He took some time and He looked about and He found Noah. Now Noah was pure. He had a pure heart. He was righteous. He had no sin. So whatever God asked him to do, Noah would obey. So God said to Noah, I have found one that honors me. So he went to Noah. So in the book of Genesis, chapter 6 through 11, he goes to Noah and he basically says, look, I need you to take 2 of each animal. Your husband, your wife, your kids, everybody in your family, right? Involved. But don't tell people what you're doing. And he was very specific on the measurements, the type of wood. And it took a long time for him to build it. Now, in the sky, there was no sign of rain. Kind of like when Elijah met with the widow. There was no sign of rain. But a lot of times, we don't always see the signs of God, right? They're not obvious. It says in His word that we are to walk by faith and not by sight. So if God speaks something in your spirit, but you see no evidence of it yet, it doesn't mean it's not going to happen. But we don't have a timeline. God doesn't say, hey, such and such date, this is going to happen. We have to trust and walk in faith. So that's what Noah did. He built this ark. He started getting everything ready. His sons helped him. Their wives, the children, right? The animals gathering. And people were like, then the clouds started forming. Can I get on the boat? Can I go with you? And God gave strict instructions. So Noah shut the door. And the flood came. And you know how the story goes. There were a time or two he would send out a dove to see if we were close by. Now, the dove was tagged. And if the dove came back, then he knew that there was no land close. But one day he sent out the dove and it didn't return. So they were close. They ended up on a new land. They opened the door. Let all the animals out and all the people out. All right? So that they could start fresh. And so when we look at God's commitment to us, sometimes we wonder, right? Where are you, God? What is going on? And so we think of that rainbow and we think of Noah. So Noah's kind of been on my heart since Christmas. Just thinking about the promises of God, that He will stand by us, right? Even when we don't see Him working, He's working behind the scenes. When we don't see anything happening, doesn't mean He's not working it out for our good. He is. We just can't see it. And so we have to trust Him. We have to walk in faith. So Noah's a very important story. So when you get time to read it, again, Genesis 6 through 11. All right, so the rainbow was God's sign of commitment to us, right? And so I want to leave you with one verse, Psalms 119, 105. That is verse 105. And if you ever get a chance to read Psalm 119, do it. It's quite a long psalm, but it's a wonderful tribute to God. And in this verse it says, your word is a lamp unto my feet. What does that mean? Does that mean you got a lamp at your feet? No, His word directs our steps. So when you find yourself in a place of not knowing which way to go, you have questions for God, you look to His word scripturally, and then you pray and ask that God would direct your steps. So on this day of the rainbow, think about Noah and the promise of God, because He's there for you and He's working it out for your good. So walk by faith, not by sight. So I hope this message has blessed you. So in the comments, write, I walk by faith and not by sight. And God will favor you and honor you and stand by you all the days of His life. So God bless you, and until next time, have a great day. Bye-bye.